There is a flood of new Yeezys dropping, and I'm not just talking about new colorways, I'm talking about whole new silhouettes. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler, and this is Weekly Heat. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell down below if you want to see more videos just like this, and also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler. But before we actually jump into the video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Neville for sending over this dope new collaboration hat he's got. He's really bringing back all the old Fowler Customs vibes with this whole backwards hat situation, but I'm into it. And actually, while I'm talking about my friends doing cool stuff, I actually just got this packaging from Tony, Bull, and Kais, and it's their brand new Pure sneaker cleaner. Huge shout out to them for starting their own business and creating their own sneaker cleaning product. I think that's so cool. I actually have yet to try it. I'm gonna try it on some shoes in the studio probably today. But if you guys want to check them out, I'll leave a link in the description below. I think this is the black kit, and I believe black box edition. And I think it's actually sold out. So if you guys want to grab some of their product, you might have to grab the regular edition. The crazy special edition is gone, but yeah, huge shout out to them. Keep it up, guys. You guys are killing it. This video is not sponsored. I'm just really stoked for my friends to create something awesome, so make sure to check it out. But now, let's get into the sneaker news and talk about all the Yeezys and crazy hype sneakers that are dropping throughout the rest of the year. I'm not gonna lie, when I wear this hat forward, I kinda look like I should be drifting cars in West Virginia, or maybe like a pro BMX biker. Or just a goober, I don't know. Any one of the three. Okay, so first things first, it looks like a brand new Yeezy Quantum colorway has been revealed. And this colorway is officially called the Flame Orange colorway, or Flora colorway. I don't know why they felt the need to like push the two names together, but they did. So technically it's the Flora Yeezys, even though it's not spelled the way that you spell Flora. Speaking of Yeezys, I just dropped my review on the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 in the ash blue colorway. So if you guys would like to check out that video, there will be a link at the top of the screen. But getting back into these Quantums, it looks like these shoes will be covered in a brown and orange colorway, which makes sense because they come in flame orange. Honestly, most of the sneaker remains relatively unchanged from any of the previous Quantums. The heel of the shoe still comes in black, the midsole of the sneaker still comes in like a light tannish gray, the toe even comes in a light tan like it usually does. The only real difference between these Quantums and other Quantums is the fact that this shoe features a brown and orange prime knit style material on the midfoot. Is it a bad looking shoe? No, but it just feels like another standard Yeezy Quantum. And I know I've kind of been getting on Yeezy for the last about 5 years for constantly releasing earth tone colorways, and this just feels like more of the same. I know the Quantum has gotten a blue colorway, which is definitely different for a pair of Yeezys, but that's really it. That's the only color variation in the Quantums, unfortunately. If, however, you do not yet have a pair of Quantums and you want to grab a pair because somehow you missed out on all the other releases, even though some of them sat, this one might not be a bad one to go for because I think it won't be too difficult to get. And if you are trying to grab a pair of the Flame Orange Quantums for yourself, they should be releasing this May. So next, we've got an update on a story that I covered in last week's Weekly Heat, and that's about the Yeezy 350 V3 Covalite. So it turns out it's not going to be a 350 V3, it's going to be a 380. It's still going to come in the Covalite colorway, but it's a 380. And the thing that really kind of makes it worse is the fact that this Covalite colorway looks a lot like the Onyx colorway, which dropped a couple months back. So not only is it not a new silhouette, it's also not really even a new colorway. And as far as release dates go, it is still releasing on the same date that we originally thought, which is March 15th, but again, it's not a V3, it's just another 380 in black. After that, we've got a first look at LEGO's continuing collaboration with Adidas on a pair of Ultra Boosts. So far, the only pair of LEGO Adidas sneakers that we've seen is a pair of ZX8000s, which makes a lot of sense because Adidas is collaborating on 26 different pairs of ZX8000s this year. Apparently, they're creating a shoe for every letter of the alphabet, and the letter of the alphabet corresponds with the brand that they're working with. It's a cool concept. I haven't been in love with a lot of the collaborations that they've dropped so far, but I'm excited to see what else happens. That said, for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, LEGO was like my favorite toy growing up, so seeing a LEGO collaboration on a pair of Ultra Boosts is definitely exciting. Unfortunately, I don't love it. I don't think it's bad. I do like the sneaker overall, but when you've got such a cool brand to collaborate with, which is LEGO, you'd think that the shoe would be a little bit more exciting and a little bit more different. Honestly, I would have loved it if like the heel counter had those like Lego nubs on it so you could put stuff on the heel counter. That would be sick because then you could literally build off the shoes themselves. And to be fair, I'm sure they threw that concept around when they were designing this sneaker, but for whatever reason, it just didn't make it. So unfortunately, what we're getting is a kind of toned down white, silver, and yellow Ultra Boost. And while I don't think it looks bad, it's just not that great. I will say that I like the way that they did the midfoot cage and how they made each stripe in the 3 stripes a Lego brick. I think that's pretty cool. And I think, again, overall the shoe isn't bad. It's just not what you'd expect from a LEGO collaboration on such an awesome silhouette. Unfortunately, there is still no release date for this sneaker, but expect the shoe to drop sometime in the spring for a slightly higher retail price of $200. Continuing on, we've got a first look at a brand new Air Jordan 4 colorway, the white Oreo. So looking at this shoe, it has a lot of similarities to the white cement 4s, which is a shoe that I think a lot of us really want to come back. I mean, I guess we're getting a golf version of the shoe, but the only YouTuber I know who'd even be excited about that is Cousteau. This shoe kind of seems like the discount white cements, and while it's not a bad looking sneaker and it's a good colorway overall, it's just knowing what we could have had and seeing what we got, it just doesn't feel right. It does seem like the shoe is coming in nicer materials than usual. You've got a white tumbled leather on the upper, you've got a leather heel counter, and then of course rounding off the look, you've got a gray black speckled midsole. For some reason, the only picture I could find of this shoe online was a picture of this shoe in grade school sizes, so maybe it's possible that this shoe might only be releasing in grade school sizing. I don't think that's the case though, because the price point for this shoe is set at $190, which is a standard men's pricing. I mean, it's fine. It's not a bad looking sneaker. If you guys would like me to grab a pair to review it for you guys, I definitely will, but it's not a sneaker that I'm personally too excited about. If you are, however, looking to grab a pair of these for yourself, they should be releasing on May 29th. Speaking of Air Jordan 4 colorways, it looks like around Christmas time of this year, we're getting a brand new black and red Air Jordan 4. Now, apparently this style code has been sort of out there for a while, and people were thinking that it might be the off-white bred 4s, but it looks like, unfortunately, that is not the case. Instead, it looks like this will just be a standard non-collaboration pair of Air Jordan 4s. Now, the mock-up that you're seeing was just based on the style code alone. No one's actually seen the sneaker yet, so this mock-up is purely speculative. But if you're a fan of black and red Air Jordan 4s, you've got one coming out later this year, which is kind of exciting. I'm not sure exactly why, but on this mock-up, it looks like there's elephant print around the top of the ankle and around the toe of the sneaker. I'm not sure if that was shown in the style code, or maybe that's just something that they added for dramatic effect, but whatever the reason, it looks a little off on this pair of 4s, I'm not gonna lie. I'm honestly a little disappointed because I was one of those people who thought that this would be the off-white bred 4s, but hopefully that shoe just releases in June of this year and we just get whatever this is in the holiday season. But moving on, we've got some brand new information about the latest Air Jordan Dornbecker collaboration for 2021. So for a while now, we've known when the Dornbecker event was gonna take place, which is February 25th, but we didn't know which silhouette was gonna be collaborated on. At least not which Air Jordan silhouette, which is usually the flagship silhouette of the collection. But new information has just surfaced that the collaboration between Jordan Brand and Dornbecker Children's Hospital will take place on an Air Jordan 1. And as exciting as that is, because the Air Jordan 1 is one of the most popular Jordan silhouettes right now, it's also exciting because this time around they're going to be doing things a little bit differently. And from what I can tell, it seems like this colorway is not going to be inspired by a specific child, but instead inspired by all 14 of the previous Air Jordan Dornbecker sneakers, which actually seems like it could turn out to be really cool. And not only that, it's almost like they're featuring 14 kids on one sneaker instead of just one, which is also really cool. But until February 25th, we do not know what the sneaker is going to look like or even when it's going to release, but I've got to say I'm excited. After that, we've got one of the weirder stories of the day, and that's the brand new Nike Air Force 1 Keep 'em Fresh. So this shoe comes wrapped, I guess you could say. Like the shoe literally comes in wrapping paper, like sewn onto the upper of the sneaker. It actually reminds me a lot of the Tom Sachs Mars Yard overshoe, or at least the concept does. The Nike AF1 Low Timeless Classic Keep 'em Fresh is literally a shoe that is covered in paper, sewn onto the upper, and that's how it comes in the box. It's a weird looking shoe, but the good news is you can actually peel off that paper, or I guess rip off that paper because it's sewn on, and reveal a normal Air Force 1 underneath. It's almost like Nike was thinking, we've already done wear away paint, we've already done tear away uppers, why don't we make it one step stupider? I can't wait to see someone walking down the street in this shoe with the paper still on it. That's worse than wearing a StockX tag. I mean, I really think, well, it's iffy. I don't know, man, this is a weird look. As of right now, there is no official release date for the Air Force 1 Keep 'em Fresh, but I'm sure they're gonna be staying pretty fresh in the boxes until they actually drop. That was an awful pun. So speaking of shoes coming with sewn on tissue paper uppers, it looks like the shoe that we just talked about is not the only Nike sneaker getting that treatment. Apparently the Nike Dunk Low Flip the Old School also features a tissue paper upper. In addition to that, the shoe is also heavily inspired by the Co.JP City Attack Pack from 1999 and features extremely premium ostrich leather uppers. There is so much going on with this shoe, I just feel like they're doing too much. So the first thing that you'll see when you get this shoe out of the box is a tissue paper upper that's covered in a black and white print. When you actually get around to peeling off the print, you'll notice that the upper of this shoe comes in a white and purple leather. Obviously the white and purple upper of this shoe is inspired by the 1999 City Attack Pack, but what makes this pair even more interesting is that the right shoe comes in a pretty standard white and purple leather upper, but the left shoe comes in literally a reverse of the first shoe. And by literally, I don't mean just the color blocking, I also mean the Nike swoosh. So needless to say, there is a lot going on with this shoe. And I have to say, if any version of this shoe had released on its own, like the wrapped Nike Dunk, or a purple and white Nike Dunk Low, or even an upside down Nike swoosh Nike Dunk Low, that shoe or that pair would be very hyped up. But because of the fact that this shoe is inspired by the City Attack Pack, also the fact that it comes with a mismatched upper, and the fact that it comes in a way that you kind of have to take it apart yourself, the hype on this pair is going to be nuts, and I'm sure this shoe is going to be ridiculously limited. Nike is just doing the most right now. I don't understand why they had to do all this. Just give us a shoe that's simple and clean. Give us some ostrich leather, that's nice. Give us a shoe with an upside down Nike swoosh, that's nice, but don't give it to us all at once. It's just too much. I can't handle all of it. I realize this has been a pretty scatterbrained segment, but the shoe is just messing with my mind. I don't understand it. I mean, yeah, I get it. I totally understand what's going on, but it's just so much going on one silhouette. I don't get it. I really don't. As of right now, the Nike Dunk Low Flip the Old Schools do not have a release date, but expect them to release sometime this year. Most likely very close to the Air Force One Keep 'em Freshes because they have the same sort of theme going on. Speaking of Nike Dunks, it looks like the Supreme Nike SB Dunk Lows finally have a release date. These Supreme SBs come in 4 different colorways. You've got a blue, a black, a light green, and sort of an oxblood maroon. Obviously, the inspiration behind this Nike SB Dunk Low collaboration are the Supreme Nike SB Dunk Highs from years ago. And just like the original collaboration, this new collaboration also features the gold stars on the midfoot. Now again, with Nike Dunks being as popular as they are and Supreme being Supreme, I think that the hype on these shoes is going to be nuts. And unfortunately, that means that these shoes are going to be very, very difficult to get. But if you do decide to go for them, they should be releasing on March 4th. Now I don't know if that's March 4th on the Supreme website or if that's March 4th on the Sneakers app, but I would expect it's going to release at Supreme first because that's usually how their collaborations release. And as much as I'd like to have a pair of these, the chance of me getting these for retail is pretty much zero. Like with all other dunks. I don't think I've gotten a dunk for retail, well, since like 2010. But continuing on, we've got some detailed looks at the upcoming Adidas Yeezy 1050. So I previewed this shoe on a weekly heat back in probably 2020, and back then we didn't know if this shoe was actually going to release or if it was just kind of a lost sample. But now, because of the fact that we're getting more detailed images of the shoe, it looks like this sneaker will actually be dropping. And hey man, if you love orange and you love Yeezy boots, you are in luck because this is literally an orange Yeezy boot. This futuristic duck boot style sneaker comes with what seems to be a rubberized outsole, midsole, and bottom half of the upper, and the rest of the upper comes in what seems to be some sort of molded foam mesh. I'm not gonna lie and say that this is a shoe that I'd wear every day, but it's one of those shoes that I'd like to have in the collection so that I could bust them out, you know, whenever there's a snow day and I wanna look fresh. This is one of those Yeezy releases, like actually most Yeezy releases, that's probably gonna have a very polarizing release. People are either gonna love it or they're gonna hate it. There's not really gonna be any in between. Based on these new images, it looks like the shoe comes with a full-length continental rubber outsole as well as a zipper on the midfoot, which apparently is how you tighten the sneaker. There's no laces on this shoe anywhere. I'm not sure exactly why they decided to pair the tan with the orange. I don't think it's a bad combination, but it's not the most obvious of color combinations. But again, I kind of like it. It's one of those shoes that I really want to pick up. Even though there's no release date for this sneaker just yet, because of the fact that we're getting detailed images, I wouldn't be surprised if this shoe drops in the near future. So surprisingly, more news has come out regarding those Fragment Travis Scott Air Jordan 1s, and it looks like they're not just coming in a low top variant, they're also coming in a high top. In this image from Z Sneakerhead Z, Travis Scott was recently seen rocking a pair of the high top Fragment Travis Scott Air Jordan 1, so it's confirmed that there is a pair in existence. Now whether that pair will actually release, no one knows for sure, just like with the low top pair, but if I had to decide between the two, man, I'd go for those high tops. Those are straight fire. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that those Fragment 1s are like one of my top grails, so having a version of that, which honestly is probably going to be even more hyped up, it's kind of appealing. Now to be honest, this shoe won't fulfill my need for those Fragment Air Jordan 1s, but it's a good step forward. As far as colorway goes, these Fragment Travis Scott Air Jordan 1s look very similar to the original Fragment 1s. They come in the same shade of blue. They've got sort of that black toe look towards the forefoot of the sneaker. The only real difference seems to be the backwards Nike swoosh, which comes in black on the lateral side. Oh, and I guess also the color of the outsole. I believe on the original Fragments the outsole is blue. On this pair it seems to come in like a shade of tan, which also matches the midsole. Again, all we really know about these shoes is what we can see in these images of Travis Scott wearing them, and also what we can take from these mock-ups by Z Sneakerhead Z, but that's pretty much all we got, so stay tuned for more information, because as soon as more info comes out about these sneakers, if it does, I'll make sure to drop a video. And then, rounding off today's Weekly Heat video, we finally have release information for the Adidas Yeezy 450. This shoe has literally been leaked and rumored for years at this point. We've seen images of this shoe since I think like almost 2018, maybe 2019. And even in 2020, it seems like there were final retail pairs, or at least very finalized sample pairs of this shoe out there, because Kanye was seen wearing one. For those of you not familiar with this shoe, the Yeezy 450 is a brand new Adidas Yeezy silhouette. The shoe seems to come with a light tan woven upper that doesn't seem to provide much structure, and of course that very obvious detail of the sort of foam fingers that wrap up from the midsole of the shoe and give the upper of the shoe almost a midfoot cage. Now, so far, the only real finalized colorway of this shoe that we've seen is this colorway, the Cloud White colorway. And it also seems like the Cloud White 450s will be the first colorway of this shoe to actually release. Now, as far as release information goes for this shoe should be dropping on March 4th for a retail price of 180 bucks. And unfortunately, it looks like this shoe will be unbelievably limited and only available on YeezySupply.com. I mean, at this point, a very limited Yeezy Supply only release seems to be pretty much par for the course when it comes to new Yeezy silhouettes. So I'm not really surprised, I'm just disappointed, because I really want a pair of these as soon as they drop so I can give you guys a full review. In fact, if any of you guys get lucky on Yeezy Supply, hit me up through Instagram DM, because I will be looking to buy a pair if you guys can like ship it overnight. But I would love to know your thoughts on the upcoming Adidas Yeezy 450 and all of the other sneakers that we talked about in today's video, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.